Hi, my name is Angelica. I am the director of the Specialized Center for Stuttering here in Peru. And today I am with two friends that are Jurjen from the Netherlands and Daniele from Canada. So, well, I would like to start this video asking you guys if you could introduce yourselves.
Go ahead.
Sure.
Me?
Sure, great, sure.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm Daniele Rossi, and I'm a prolific digital media creator, I guess. I produce a Starting School podcast and Frankie Banky comics, starring of a fox who stutters. During the day, my day job, I work as a digital media marketer. And I've been stuttering since I was a kid. Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry.
Important.
And my name is Jong, and I'm from the Netherlands, and I'm 28 years old, and I currently work as a astronomer in Leiden, and besides that, like, I'm the chair of Stemily. And that's a newly founded organization for like international people who stutter, and yeah, that's it.
And well, actually, it's important to mention that the three of us are family members, so that's really cool too. And actually, the reason why we are here today is because we are going to talk about stuttering in adulthood. So I would like to start this video before going into that to ask you guys how your stuttering was when you were a child, because one of the reasons that I invite you both is because in some way during the years we have accepted our way to talk, and this has motivated us to create things or to do things. Like, for example, Jurjen with the family group, and Daniele Rossi with the comics. So that's very cool because we can help others. But as I was saying, I would like to start asking you how it was when you were children.
Sure.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, it's hard to lose coffee first, but yeah, when I was a child, I think my maybe first memories when I was just 7 years old or something, I started to notice that I stuttered, and I think somebody recognized it, and I went to speech therapy, and the good thing was, or that's maybe like, yeah, like I feel like it's a good thing that my main focus was there to just maybe focus like on my mindset, and my speech therapist was always just helping me to maybe think more, or to just change my negative thoughts to more neutral ones, and that helped me a lot. And another thing was that I'm like a lucky person that I haven't been really bullied or something, because I know that for some that is also different, and that makes also I think like a bigger impact on your life when you are a child. Then later on, so like in my primary school, I didn't have many issues. Like, I just knew that I stuttered, and that that caused some just made difficulties with the presentation and so on. But I still had friends and so on. And the nice thing also was that like, once my speech therapist invited my primary school teacher also to join a session, and then that helped also to just let him understand this stuttering and how, like, he could help me actually. The nice thing was that my grades for also presentations, they also went up, but that's a nice side effect. No, but yeah, so that helped me just to to come through this my primary school. And then secondary school, I struggled more because I think in this general, this many teenagers are having a harder time. In general, like, you know, like you are just changing and like you are more comparing also like yourself with your classmates and so on. And that in some way changed me a little bit to a rebel, that I started to just skip classes. So definitely language classes. That also meant that my grades were not very good. Definitely for languages. I actually didn't speak really English till like I was like in my 20s. Yeah, or like I spoke like in class when I went, but it was like just barely, and I passed with the lowest grade. But yeah, so that was just more difficult, like in my teenage life. But I noticed when I got older, like I came like in my 20s and became more calm, like in my head, and now I can look back at it like, you know, like with a laugh, that I can see, okay, like I was just struggling, but in the end, it came all fine. It's a long story, but yeah, like I will give the word to Daniel.
Yeah, first of all, apologies that I keep yawning. I was up too late last night drawing my next comic, and then I go, oh my gosh, it's midnight. Well, I envy your childhood, complete opposite for me. So yeah, I started stuttering maybe, I think I was 4 years old when I started stuttering, but I didn't realize what I was doing. All I remember is being told, you know, don't push too hard. I have no idea what you're talking about. What is, because I couldn't understand the concept of pushing and talking at the same time. I'm like, what does that mean? So yeah, you know, my stuttering did affect the way that I made, or it didn't make friends. The feedback that, you know, the negative feedback. How can you talk like that, or being mimicked? I didn't speak up in class, especially with the later years in elementary school, and then high school. I kind of saw high school as, okay, it's a fresh start. Let's start again. So long story short, yeah, I tried to hide my stuttering, which never really worked. And then once a stutter came out, oh no, they know, and then, you know, that's it. Like it's all about that perception. My stuttering, I guess, decreased, so to speak, as I got older. But as you can see, it's still there. But thankfully, I learned, hey, there's a whole other perspective that you can have, which is the opposite of what I had growing up. You know, because I was told, or I received information that stuttering is bad and it needs to be hidden. But the reality is, there's another option. Maybe it's not bad. Maybe it doesn't have to be hidden.
Yeah, that's really interesting because society always give you this message that stuttering is bad. So of course, when we grow up with that idea in mind, it's like we try to do everything to find a cure or to eliminate. And I mean, it's completely normal to feel in that way, because we have the parents, the teacher, the speech therapist saying things like, you need to talk like the others, like, you need to do this technique, you need to practice this, or you will not be successful, and things like that. But actually, we see them, it doesn't have to be like that, exactly. And well, you were talking about your speech therapist that you had, which actually I envy you too, because I wasn't that lucky. Like I had to visit, I don't know how many different speech therapists here in Peru, like really a lot. And it's very, very good that you can find a good one, like from the beginning, which is like really great. I envy you. So now I would like to ask, what recommendations could you give to those speech therapists that work in this topic? Like, what things do you consider are important for them to know?
The speech therapist. Yeah, that's always hard because I'm not this trained as a speech therapist, but I think from my personal side is, so I really like that in my case, my speech therapist helped me with my mindset. That helped me really to just live in general, like in this world where like you are just confronted with many thoughts, and negative ones also. So I think this combination of focusing like on my mental health, actually, like, or like my mental state, that helped me very much. So I think it's like something that I would always recommend speech therapists to help people who stutter with. And then, like, I'm not against speech therapy or something, but then like I would look at I see like or just listen to the needs of the one that you are treating or helping, because not everybody has the or that needs the same methods or something, and everybody is different. And I think you learn it also when you are trained as a speech therapist. But yeah, that's very like a good thing to know in general, that we are all this different, and also we who stutter are working all this differently, and need a different way of living with a stutter. So yeah.
Yeah, I echo what Jurjen said. The speech therapy that I received in the 80s was, just the mechanics, just the tools, which for me was just, breathe, take a deep breath, and then speak slower. But I had no patience to do all that stuff. And plus, I saw speech therapy as a cure. For some reason, I thought it was a cure for stuttering. And then it became my fault that I didn't practice the speech therapy. And that's why I still stutter. And yeah, if like looking back now that I learned what other types of speech therapies there are out there, in especially addressing the emotional side, your feelings about it. Kids are mimicking my stuttering, or I'm too afraid for this job interview, things like that, because that's really what is at the forefront. Like, no matter how great you are with your speech tools, you're still gonna chances are you're still gonna be nervous for that job interview. You can be nervous about, is my stutter going to come out, right? And I'd say, there's more to life than fluent speech. There's more to someone's life than fluent speech. There are lots of fluent speakers I know who aren't fluent, right? Like, I know it sounds like a strange sentence to say, but they can't formulate a proper sentence together. There are many people who stutter I know that are eloquent speakers. And so it's more about, creating that positive outlook. And I would say also meeting others that stutter, that have that positive outlook, because you are the company that you keep, as the saying goes, and you rub off each other, like you learn from each other, and that was the key thing that got me changing my perspective from hiding stuttering is bad, it's shameful, to, hey, stuttering is this cool thing that I do.
Yeah.
I sorry, like I just wanted to say last thing, that like I would like to say also that that like you are right, that like that meeting other people who stutter, that can also help a lot. I like in my childhood I just didn't meet anyone who stuttered, but I think that can also just help a lot. Yeah.
Yes, definitely. It's very common to feel alone, to feel like you are the only one who has this. But actually, we can see now that there are people who stutter around the world. Like, there is Daniele in Canada, Jurjen in the Netherlands. There are a lot of people who stutter over there, and it's really, really great to have to share their stories, to have these meetings and that kind of things that really can help.
And the technology that's around us, the affordable technology that lets us meet all these people around the world. That's how I found out about how stuttering is a positive thing. That's how I found out about support groups. And then eventually more and more, and then I'm drawing comics and, I can post, right? We have that technology that anybody can post. Anybody can, become a publisher, a podcaster. And then I meet you who says, hey, I really like your comics. And then here I am on your show, and I had you on mine. So, yeah. And then I'm part of family, and then, yeah.
Yes. That's why I also like family is like a group, and there are people who started for really around the world. So it's really cool to, I don't know, like meet other people, and you are not alone. Another very important thing that you both said was this work on the emotions, on the thoughts, and that kind of things. Because I have seen that it's very, very common to think like, well, this person has this thing when he or she talks, so let's going to give them techniques, so he will be fine. But it's not that simple like that. There are a lot of psychological work that it's very important to work with. And then many times, like they don't do that in therapy. But well, one of my last questions that I wanted to ask you today is, well, at the beginning we were talking about the stuttering in your childhood. And I know that this also can be very difficult for parents because they see that there's something on the children that they didn't expect, so they can feel worried, they can feel overwhelmed because they're starting to imagine and to think about a lot of things that could happen. And I mean, it's definitely not easy for them either. It could be very complicated, and as I always say, there are some valid emotions that appear. So I would like to ask you if you could, I don't know, give a message or say something to those parents who started that I also know that watch these videos. What could you say?
I'm gonna need to think about that one for a second. Aside from just be patient with your kids. Try not to finish their sentences. I mean, I know it's hard to do that because that's kind of like a normal part of conversation, like a normal part of an engaged conversation, where when you're talking with someone, it's like you can't help but finish their sentence because you're in agreement with what they're saying. I'm not sure if I'm explaining correctly, but there's a fine line between finishing someone's sentences because you're in an engaged conversation versus helping someone say a word that they can easily say themselves, or not easy say themselves, but they can say themselves. They just need some time to really say it. I don't know if I made sense. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think also this is a very difficult question. Because like it works always different per child. But I think like what like I would say is to don't worry. Like living with a stutter that is very doable. And you can be still happy and smile. like I'm also smiling now. No, but like that's not like like the worst thing that can happen to someone. And I think what also very that helps also is this listening, because like everybody has their own needs, and child also. And I think like if you can just speak about it together and see what the child needs, that can be very helpful also, because then or we live like just very often like in or like we live like in a society, like you said, where we are hearing that we need to fix the things that are strange or that different or something, which with stuttering, this translates to this fixing your stutter, and it has to disappear or something. But I think learning to live with a stutter is much more beneficial. So I think that, like, if you focus on that part, that can be healthier for somebody's mental state, and encouraging and support are there may be better tools to help someone than focusing on this treatment or something. But still, like I said before, like for some speech methods and these techniques, they can help, because like you can be in these difficult situations where it might be better. This may use some, but this mindset, like if you are happy, then like you will be less disturbed and struggling less with stuttering, like in your mind. Yeah, and I think that's my main message.
Yeah. There's just like I said earlier, there's more to life than just fluent speech. There's more to your kid than the way that they talk. Other areas of their life where they will be passionate about, they'll be happy, they'll have a strength in, or other areas that are weaknesses. Not saying that stuttering is a weakness, but maybe they're not good in math. They need to focus on their math to practice their math, for example.
Yeah, definitely. One thing I always mention that is very important too is to talk with them about it. That's like really, really important. I know that a lot of parents can have this idea in mind, like how I'm going to talk about my children about it. And unfortunately, and I really struggle with that, is that there are a lot of speech therapists that recommend to the parents, don't talk with him or her about their stuttering, or they use like the S word or T in Spanish. And then like, don't say anything, don't mention that word at home. And it's like, what? And like they know already what they are going through. They maybe don't have that word in their mind, but they know that there's something else, and try to hide that, or trying to, I don't know, to pretend that there's not there, actually make things worse.
It's all about context. Are you talking about stuttering in a negative aspect, or are you talking about stuttering in a positive aspect?
Yeah, it's also that remind me to the language we use when we talk about stuttering, which is something that, I mean, the speech therapist needs to teach the parents to create this friendly environment about stuttering at home. Because I mean, it's just a way to talk. It's not an illness or something like that. And they can be completely fine, like achieve their goals and do what I want to be, do what I want to do, and be what I want to be. Well, thank you guys. This has been very useful. I really enjoy it. And yeah, I think, as I was saying, it was very, very good to hear also for the parents or speech therapists that watch these videos. So thank you, both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.